Yes, you would. You'd love to have that.
A new Lincoln Mark 8. The Lincoln Mark 8. Tomorrow's automobile with the timeless style, engineering, excellence, and quality you expect. Comes with standard features, power moonroof, voice-activated cellular phone, Ford JBL audio system with front-mounted CD changer, auto-dim mirror, traction assist, chrome directional wheels, and California emissions.
I thought it was really funny when I showed up to buy this vehicle. The seller warned me that the driver's seat power button doesn't work anymore, and got me a couple $1,000s off the price of the vehicle. And the best part about it's probably the engine. Actually, I lied. The best part about it's right here. Let me just get in this interior. As far as I know, that's the original mileage. 108,000 miles on this motor. And it fires right up. Bit of an exhaust leak, but it sounds great. It drives too. The transmission's solid. What a cool car this would have been back in the day. Yeah, let's give it a rev. Oh yeah. Pretty cool, guys. Pretty cool. Okay. Anyway. So because that driver's seat doesn't work anymore, I was able to get this thing for $600. Could you believe it? I didn't know it was that much to fix a driver's seat, but we talked them down all the way from $2,000 to $600. The reason I'm so excited about this car is this motor right here. This is the factory 4.6 liter, 4-valve per cylinder, dual overhead cam. They called it the Intech in the Lincoln models. This came in the Aviator, I'm pretty sure, as well. This is the Mark 8 version. This is a full aluminum blocked 4.6. The only other Ford product to come with a full aluminum 4.6 liter was the Cobra from this time. This is basically the Cobra block. These were cast specifically. Well, let me just explain it to you in voiceover. Now, this being a 4.6 liter 4-valve makes it rare. However, that's not the most special part about this engine. This engine uses what's called the TEKSID block. That is the full aluminum block cast by Fiat subsidiary TEKSID in Italy. Starting in 1993, all Lincoln Mark 8s received this block up until 1998. The Cobra also received this engine block from 96 up until 1999, the Cobra receiving a different intake manifold and different heads to make a little more power. All 1999 and prior 4.6 liter aluminum blocks are cast in Italy and assembled in Ford's Romeo, Michigan plant. The SVT motors were assembled by hand and received a forged crankshaft. The 4.6 in this Lincoln does not have a forged crankshaft. So what's the big deal, you might say? The 4.6 aluminum block isn't that special. They also came in the Aviator and the Marauder. While that is a 4.6 liter aluminum block, that is not what we're after. Those blocks made after 1999 are cast at the Windsor, Ontario plant, and they're known as WAP blocks for the Windsor aluminum plant. The 4.6 liter aluminum WAP block is considerably weaker than the 4.6 liter aluminum TEKSID block. It also does not have a 6-bolt main design and only has 4 main cap bolts. The WAP block is actually so much weaker than the TEKSID block that Ford decided not to use it in the 2003 and 2004 Terminator Cobra, making the 2003 to 2004 Terminator Cobra engine the only 4.6 liter iron-blocked 4-valve engine to come from the factory. The WAP block also helped perpetuate the rumor that Ford engine blocks would break in half down the middle at a certain horsepower level. Allegedly, at around 600 wheel horsepower, the WAP blocks would crack right down through the water pump. Regardless if this is true or not, I don't want to find that out, which is why I've elected to go with the 4.6 TEKSID block for this build. TEKSID blocks have been proven to make over 1,200 horsepower plus without signs of cracking. They also are 72 pounds lighter than their iron-blocked counterparts, making this an excellent performance build block. So these heads are known as the B head in the 4-valve community. There is the B head, C head, and R head. The R head only came on the Cobra R. The C head is your Cobra. And then the B head, which are these, is only on the Mark 8, I believe, or the Aviator maybe. But you can tell this is a B head because it has 2 ports here, and this has a variable runner. This port's actually closed, and then it will open up at high RPM. And these heads are supposedly really good for boosted applications and really good for high RPM. However, Modular Head Shop, for whatever reason, will not port these heads. But from what I read, they flow really well in the stock configuration. So Everything is running fine. These are 4-thread heads. The 4-thread heads are most of them. The 9-thread heads only came on like the 05 and up, I'm pretty sure, any of those cars. But what you didn't get on an 05 and up is this. This is a TEKSID block. That's TEKSID. That refers to the plant where these blocks were cast, and it's TEKSID. I think it's in Italy, actually. These were a joint venture with Fiat. I'll do more in the voiceover and correct myself. But you can tell this is a TEKSID block because of this pattern here. You see how this is square? This molding here? This pattern here is square. Kind of looks like the back of like a tile or something. But that's how you can tell this is a TEKSID block. These blocks have made a lot of power. They're the strongest aluminum block Ford has ever produced right here. 99 and up, this became the WAP block, the Windsor Assembly Plant. That block is also great, but it is not as strong as the TEKSID block for whatever reason. Those are identified by a different pattern here in the valley. You can see here are 2 broken bell housing bolts. Broken bell housing bolts. This one broke proud of the mating surface. This one broke a little bit deep in there. We'll get those out just fine. This block, you can see, still has the cross hatching from the factory and all 8 bores. This is in excellent condition. It turns over great. The short block here, I'm sure, is good as it sits, but we're going to build it. I'll be doing rods, pistons. Don't know if I want to do a forged crank yet. Got to do some more research about what these can take in their stock configuration with the stock cast crank. The only way you're getting a forged crank in a TEKSID block from the factory is an actual Cobra engine. And you can tell this came out of a Lincoln. Right here, this is the TEKSID casting number. RF is TEKSID for the aluminum. And then the F6L. L would be Lincoln, F would be Ford, so it's F6L for Lincoln, and E is the last digit of the vehicle VIN number. So you can actually reference this block to the vehicle it came in. If you were buying a quote-unquote all-original Cobra or something like that, you can check to see if it's had a Lincoln block put in it, even though the Lincoln block and the Ford block are exactly the same, the only difference being the forged crank, like I said. Kind of see, I haven't taken a look at the bottom end yet. You can just see the oil sitting in there. This will become a rare combination of 2-valve head on the aluminum block. And from what I understand right here, a couple modifications you need to make to this to make it work. You'll have to drill this hole out to allow coolant to bleed. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep these timing guide pins, but the ones in the iron block are pressed in and these are threaded. They thread in. You can see there's a little hex. Looks like an 8mm hex. But if I just keep these, then I won't have to mess with that. But we'll see when I go to put everything together. Like I said, I will be selling these 4-valve heads in excellent condition. So let me know if you want those. Somebody will have to want these, right? And then I've got the timing cover as well, if you want that, with all the hardware. Because really, I bought this car just for this block. This block being 72 pounds lighter than the iron, has better thermal efficiency because it's aluminum. And is it stronger than the iron block? Probably not. Who knows? It's just more unique. It seems like for the money, I should have just went with this. And that's what I did. Here I'm showing you the cracked rod design that a lot of factory engines come with. These rods are actually cast with a little line and then cracked mechanically so that the 2 halves fit together perfectly when they're bolted up. Here you can see just how easy this crank spins over without the rods and pistons in the block. All the bearings in this engine ended up being in really good condition. We'll do a little bit of engine teardown ASMR now. As I mentioned before in the video, the TEKSID block is a 6-bolt main block, meaning each main cap has 6 bolts in it. 4 come up from the bottom where the oil pan is, and then 2 come in from the sides of the block, making the main caps very strong in this engine, which is part of the reason why it can handle so much power. The side main bolts are actually accompanied by jacking screws additionally, and the main cap fitment is very tight in this block. A lot of people actually say you need what's called a block spreader to install these main caps because of how tightly they fit in the block. I was able to get these out by hand, so I didn't feel like I needed a block spreader, but when I go to assemble this engine, I will most likely have to come up with some type of way to spread the skirts of this block to make main cap installation a little easier. The last main cap has the rear main seal in it, as well as the thrust washer. Thank you for watching my little informational video I put together on the Ford TEKSID block. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider subscribing. I plan to make many more videos in the future about this block and what I'm going to do with it.